My name's Eric Black. I'm with Occupy Wall Street. I was wondering if everybody would observe a moment of silence in remembrance of Dr. King. Thank you. We have the Honorable Teresa Freeman here, who is going to give Occupy Wall Street the key to Harlem. And accepting it will be Queen Mother.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'd just like to say, this is a great occasion. And for all of you to be out here and to have marched all the way from Occupy Wall Street, all the way up here to St. John Divine, that is a commitment. And that shows commitment, that shows devotion, that shows that you're committed to what you're trying to say and what you're trying to do. And on that note, I want all of you to give yourselves a round of applause because it is a continued struggle. And I understand what you're trying to do, and I think some people understand, and I think what you're doing is trying to educate people and to let them know what y'all trying to say and what y'all trying to do. And I think bringing it uptown, because it's not just a downtown issue, it's an uptown issue, it's a sideway issue, it's an everywhere issue. And by bringing it up here on this day, the eve and the night of the Martin Luther King, I think it is a momentum that we should always remember. And for the people that are uptown to understand that Occupy Wall Street is not just downtown, it's uptown, and that we all is one. And so on that note, this is the reason why I am giving the key to Harlem. And this key states, State Committee Woman Teresa Freeman commends and applause and give all her strength and devotion today to Occupy Wall Street, to Queen Mother Blakely, and all of you are here. You have access to open up all the doors in Harlem to let people know what is going on in this country and the reason why you continue this struggle. I'd like to thank everyone who has invited me here to give this key, because this key means something to me. When I give this key out, it means that I feel like whatever you're doing here in the community, it is justified. Whatever you're doing in this community, you mean good and passion. You mean well as far as the people of this great city. You mean well as far as this community. So on the behalf of myself and the State Committee, I'd like to give you this key. Thank you so very, very much.
I accept this key from Occupy Wall Street.
Disrespect for Harlem.
As you know, that I have been involved with Occupy Wall Street the second day. And again, I have worked with young people for 50 years from around the communities, all over the city, but all over the world. And as the Queen Mother, and also as the community mayor of Harlem, I accept this key on behalf of you young people. And one of the things you have done, where some may not know you have done, Occupy Wall Street came to a building called Occupy 477. For 5 years, we didn't have heat or hot water in the dead of winter. This year we do, because they came and occupied with senior citizens and elders of our community in need, and the special need of the handicapped. We can say now we have a new boiler, and we have heat today because of Occupy Wall Street. We had a wire, electrician from. The fire department came and said that it could cause a fire in the building, which we took when it was abandoned 30 years ago. when we had no resources. The resources we had was each other. And thanks again for Occupy Wall Street coming and making sure that no fire could happen in the building now, because electricity has been rewired in that same building. And so in occupying 477, we want Occupy Wall Street to continue to be an action plan in the community. Action plan, implement now. The Honorable Marcus Masai Garvey and his spirit are Martin Luther King Jr. That have to be a reference of history. And as Martin Luther King said, he wanted to eradicate poverty, the poor. And so you're doing that. It is important that you continue in the spirit of Martin Luther King to make sure that everybody do not go to bed hungry, but our children are fed. That is an action plan for Occupy Wall Street. Shelter. Predatory lending and mortgage fraud is very real. I'm fighting it in the court for the last 5 years. And predatory lending and mortgage fraud need to be stopped. Everyone has a right for a shelter in the spirit of Martin Luther King. Everyone should have a right for a coat in the freezing cold like tonight. Have clothes to wear. So be conscious and wear in the spirit of Martin Luther King that I say to Occupy Wall Street. Continue historically, and those freedom fighters who fought before you, use that roadmap, use their spirit and energy that fought, and continue to march on and walk tonight in the spirit of Martin Luther King. And I thank you for the walk on in the spirit of Martin Luther King. Go on, do it. Do it. Don't let nobody turn you around. Let nobody turn you
That's
around.
right.
He died. He died for what he believed in. And remember, you may have to die too. Go on and walk. Go on and achieve. Go on and do. Go on and serve others. Go on and dedicate your life. Go on. Go on in that spirit of Martin Luther King.
Serious, powerful. Mic check.
Other occupiers, young songs, complimented.
Louder. Louder.
Brothers and sisters, good evening.
Good evening.
Isn't this cold winter night great?
Yeah.
I am standing here in honoring Dr. King's legacy as a Chinese exile from Tiananmen and as an occupier to pledge again my commitment to nonviolence and to civil disobedience to social economic justice. Back in 1989, we were inspired by the nonviolent principle and carried out a street protest that gathered more than 100 million people. Non-violently, our struggle ended with bloodshed. But we continue that struggle till today, non-violently, in exile and in jail, in honoring Dr. King's legacy. I want to today honor some of my colleagues who are still in jail. Remember their names. Ai Weiwei,
Ai Weiwei,
the outspoken dissident artist.
the outspoken dissident artist.
Liu Xiaobo,
Liu Xiaobo,
the Nobel Peace Laureate of 2010,
the Nobel Peace Laureate of 2010,
who is still in jail,
who is still in jail,
along hundreds of thousands of other dissidents.
along hundreds of thousands of other dissidents.
While in exile,
While in exile,
here in America,
here in America,
the land of the free,
the land of the free,
have learned the precious
I've
learn the pressures
but fragile nature of democracy.
and the fragile nature of democracy.
Democracy has journeyed
Learning
from one property white man, one vote,
one property, white man, one vote,
to one white man, one vote.
to one white man, one vote.
With civil rights movement
With civil rights movement,
comes one person, one vote.
one person, one vote.
Now we're trending
Now we're trending
to $1 million one vote.
to $1 million, one vote.
How do we revive our democracy?
How do we revive our democracy?
I say to you,
I say to you,
and I speak with you,
and I speak with you.
step up and occupy.
Step up and
Say
occupy.
to you,
I say to you,
non-violent civil disobedience.
nonviolent civil disobedience.
22 years ago today,
22 years ago today,
I had the special privilege soon after my exile
I had a special privilege soon after my exile
speak the following words
to speak the following words
in the church Dr. King once worked.
in the church Dr. King once worked.
The principle of nonviolence
The principle of nonviolence
is the only way for China
is the only way for China
and for the world
and for the world
if we are to survive.
if we are to survive.
Our various communities
Our various communities
struggle together
struggle together
for justice and equality,
for justice and equality,
freedom and human rights.
freedom and human rights.
We must join our hands
We must join our
and
hands
stand as one.
and stand as one.
As Dr. King once said,
As Dr. King once said,
injustice anywhere
injustice anywhere
is a threat to justice everywhere.
is a threat to justice everywhere.
Whatever affects one directly
Whatever affects one directly
affects all indirectly.
affects all indirectly.
We must learn from each other.
We must learn from each other.
Find that crystal way
Find that crystal way
that will lead to the crystal goal.
that will lead to the crystal goal.
Together,
Together,
as one movement,
as one movement,
we can say to the tyrants and the oppressors of history,
that we can say to the tyrants and oppressors of history,
in Dr. King's words,
in Dr. King's words,
we have matched your capacity
we have matched your capacity
to inflict suffering
to inflict suffering
with our capacity
with our capacity
to endure suffering.
to endure suffering
Match your physical force
and match your physical force
with soul force.
with soul force.
We are free.
We are free!
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. I am looking for the Reverend Canon Patty Wells.
I'm looking for the Reverend
Reverend Canon Patty Wells.